Hi, I'm Michelle Adebato. The North Ward Center is committed to educating the public about the importance of community programs that give all New Jersey residents a chance for a better life. That's why we're proud to support the important educational programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation.
Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adebato at NJIT has been provided by RWJ Barnabas Health, PSE&G, committed to providing safe, reliable energy now and in the future. TD Bank, Verizon, the North Ward Center, United Airlines, and by the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Promotional support provided by AM 970 The Answer and by bestofnj.com, covering all NJ has to offer.
This is One-on-One. I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at that.
Life without dance is boring.
I don't care how good you are or how good you think you are, there is always something to learn.
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No.
People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
Such a good question. High five.
Hi, this is Steve Adebato coming to you from the campus of NJIT. That's the New Jersey Institute of Technology. Why are we here? This is, in fact, the Voice Summit, sponsored by Amazon Alexa. You've got about 2,500 folks from all over the country, programmers, people involved in something called artificial intelligence, all about voice. What does voice mean in our lives today? What could and what will voice mean in our lives tomorrow? That's what the people are here talking about at NJIT at this Voice Summit. We'll be interviewing those folks and bringing everything you've ever wanted and needed to know about voice to you right now. This is the president of NJIT, our good friend, Dr. Joel Bloom. Good to see you, Joel.
Good to see you, Steve.
You know, you told me about this. You told a lot of people about this a while back. We are having a Voice Summit at NJIT. It was expected to have about 1,500 people. It's getting closer to 2,500 folks. Who are these people and why are they in Newark at NJIT?
So let me start with a simple factoid.
So, go ahead.
As we speak, we say about 140 words a minute. If we were typing, it's 50 words a minute. That's why people are here. So who's here? So the rate at which you can teach and learn, the rate at which you can communicate. Voice is outstanding as compared to writing or typing. So in today's age of information, data, speed is important. So the idea of having a keyboard in a couple years is gone.
Really?
Really. Don't invest in keyboards technology.
Don't. It's voice.
Because it's all voice. So who's here? The people who want to be engaged in this technology. They're the developers. They are the people who want to market. I mean, you know, have you bought anything yet through any of the voice technologies?
I have.
You go online, you're sitting there, and in minutes your order is done. Think about doing that with your keyboard on a computer. 2 times, 3 times longer. You got to call up the website. Then you've got to process in the name of the company. Then you've got to find the product somewhere. You can do it all 3, 4 times faster.
Devil's advocate.
Voice.
I got to do devil's advocate, Joel.
Absolutely.
So, people, myself, others, who are in the communication business, we're in the human communication business. My question is, where does it leave the rest of us who truly believe that human interaction, well, technology has its place, I mean, are we cut out to? You said don't invest in keyboard, don't invest in humans?
No, but voice is going to create more human interaction.
For example?
For example, you have an ability now to get over the airwaves on whether it's, I don't want to market any one particular technology, but since Amazon is here, the Echo. The Echo informs you quickly about information, about facts. Now you, as somebody who is a great communicator...
You notice I'm not arguing, go ahead.
uses that technology instantaneously to tell people about what's going on. You are the genius behind voice technology. So there's going to be more communication, not less. Technology will enrich communication, not subtract from it. Yes, will we see? I couldn't help it today. I'm listening to the economic reports, which I listen to all the time. The next thing in technology happens to be in the economic report this morning is one, Google had a bust out there yesterday.
By the way, we're at
in
the end
stock
of, we're taping
market.
at the end of July. Go ahead, Joel.
And then I swear I'm sitting I'm riding in my car and I'm saying, wow, wait till voice integrates with artificial intelligence into robots. Now that's a little scary thought. Service folks will eventually be replaced by intelligent robots. But think about all the people who are building the robots, who are programming the robots. The issue is the higher order skills. The jobs of the future are in technology.
But what about those, in all seriousness, Joel, as I'm listening to you, we've had so many conversations both on and off the air, and this whole question of what happens to, say someone's in service, right? They're not technologically advanced. They don't have the experience. They may not have access. They're 50 years old, and?
Come to NJIT, take a short course, and we will train you in technology.
But seriously, that's a
yes.
potential student?
Well, remember.
We're not turning it into a commercial for NJIT, but any great institution that deals with technology, STEM, et cetera.
Right.
How could you help that person?
Trained. First of all, remember, every industry, in particular technology, you have to have people who install, people who repair, people who are responsible for quality control, people who are responsible for safety. Technology gets built in facilities, right? So you're still going to have facilities. There's a lot of service. The service industry will continue to change first and foremost, but in many ways it'll grow and expand. It's not necessarily, will there be a zero-sum gain in jobs? Possibly, but we've got to wait to see. It's changing so quickly.
And you can't stop it either. That's the funny thing about it. People go, oh, this change is scary. You have a choice, don't you?
Yes.
Either,
it just gives you choice.
Either get on the train or say, hey, just what happened?
Right.
How about this? I'm curious about this. You never actually told me, and you may or may not want to share with our vast audience, how you got this Voice Summit here to this institution, because they could have gone anywhere.
Right, and there were multiple competitors. It came down, if I remember correctly, Philadelphia, New York City, and I think it was LA. And what really happened because it always comes back to the people. So the people of the city of Newark, NJIT, the Convention Bureau, the Mayor's Office, Aisha Glover, who I know you know well, head of economic development, they said, let's put on a full court press.
What'd that look like?
So it looked like about eight, mostly women, talking to Pete Erickson, who's the CEO of MoDev, who's the convener of this conference, and he was blown away by the sense of community. And then he came to this facility, our Wellness and Event Center, our brand new facility that the trustees and our students have invested in, $110 million facility, 220,000 square feet, and said, wow, what a venue.
And this wasn't here 4 years ago.
This wasn't here for you. This just opened in January.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal. It's big. Let me ask you this. For the city, I was talking to Aisha about this, Aisha Glover. NJIT, Rutgers, Essex County College, Seton Hall.
Rutgers Biomedical Health Sciences University.
Right, Berkeley, others. Is there really an academic community, institution of higher learning community? Or is everybody, because no disrespect to anyone else, you guys got this. Are you really together? And how could you be together if you're, we had this conversation with 3 other college presidents and you on one of our other programs.
Right.
Are you in competition and you collaborate?
Yes, but with Rutgers Newark across the street, I think we've talked about this in the past, 1,500 students every day across Martin Luther King Boulevard taking each other's classes. Nobody knows if it's a Rutgers Newark student or it's a NJIT student. Many of our pre-med students go right up the hill here to Rutgers Biomedical Health Science University, take classes there. Essex County students are increasingly transferring to NJIT. We're very proud. Their GPAs are good. They graduate at the same rate as our freshmen, our indigenous students do. So the partnerships there. We have an accelerated medical program up the street, and we have an accelerated law program with Seton Hall Law School. All partnerships.
Before I let you out here, Joel, well, you'll be around here talking to folks, but I'm curious about this. Voice technology and teaching at an institution of higher learning. I have always disclosed this. I've taught here for many years at NJIT, been on the adjunct faculty. And I always ask myself, and we've done distance learning as well.
Right.
How does voice make teaching different?
Well, first of all, in distance learning, the quality of the voice technology improves the ability to be heard on both sides, for the teacher and when the student asks a question, whether they're keystroking or they're doing it via telecommunications. So the quality of voice today, if you heard an early version of those speech-empowered speakers, the Alexas and the others, it was a little difficult. How about Siri when you're trying to, if you went to your early cell phone and said, please call Steve Adubato, I don't know, I could get a restaurant, you know? So the more research
it's getting better.
It's getting a lot better. The fault rate is down to like 5%. So that's all about the voice technology.
It's a big day for NJIT, big day for Newark and for New Jersey, right?
Absolutely, outstanding day.
Thank you, Joel.
Thank you, Steve.
Stay with us, we'll be right back right after this.
To watch more One-on-One with Steve Adubato, find us online and follow us on social media.
Steve Adubato here at NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology. This is the Voice Summit. This room is just filled with about 2,000 people. They're now in another room listening to panel discussions, keynote speeches. And the gentleman sitting across from me has had an awful lot to do with bringing all these folks to Newark, New Jersey. Pete Erickson, founder of Modev, and founder of this, in fact, Voice Summit. Did I say it correctly, Modev?
Modev, yeah.
Modev.
Yeah.
And it stands for?
It stands for mobile development, which is really where we got our start 10 years ago. Just after the iPhone had come out, there was a need to bring people together around this new technology, so Modev was born.
What do you mean there was a need to bring people together?
Well, technology can't happen unless people come together to build technology. So I saw the need and I created a community around that. So I created Modev. I was living in Washington, D.C., and there was a need to bring people together. I sort of filled that need. And I decided after putting on my first conference, I really enjoyed it a lot, and that's now my full-time vocation.
Where'd you grow up?
So I'm from the West Coast, so California, then Seattle. So I really spent...
Any high tech going on in Seattle?
Yeah, well, yes. Seattle's changed a little bit over the years. It's a very tech city. But when I got to DC, there wasn't as much tech, so I needed to bring the people together.
This summit, again, we're talking to all kinds of people, fascinating folks from all different walks of life. Why are they here?
Well, they're here because we're on the precipice of this new era. It's called the Voice First era. So we just
the
Voice First era, and we're just coming out of the mobile first era. We've all have smartphones now. We all tap, swipe, and pinch. We weren't doing that 10 years ago. So we've just gone through this amazing transformation. Well, the next transformation is happening. It's the Voice First era, and the people that are here from 8 countries, from 30 states, 2,500 people, they are here because they're interested in being on the forefront of this new transformation.
What's fascinating to me is, just in talking to you for 2 minutes, it's very clear to anyone watching as well, you're a people person.
Yes.
The idea of being a people person, enjoying engaging with other people, and technology. You're not a programmer, are you?
It's funny. I got my start early as a programmer. And for 3 years in college, I was a computer science major. So I learned how to code and all that stuff. But then I switched to business. I really am a people person. I'm the 5th child of 10 children. So it's really in my nature to be around people. To engage, to solve problems. And I really enjoy this. So when the people come around, that's where I get my energy, and we carry this forward.
Talk about the connection between being on the precipice of what's happening right now and this technological explosion, which...
Yeah. Yeah.
just is consuming so many parts of our life. And the effort to continue to, I'm obsessed by human interaction.
Yeah.
How do we, you know where I'm going.
Yeah. I mean,
is it this?
Our whole why I founded my company is that human connection is vital in the era of digital transformation. That's our belief. That's why we do what we do. And, you know, as I said, we've got all this amazing technology, but it can't do anything unless you get the people together to
Give me an
actually build
example.
it.
Break down, give a couple examples.
Well, I would give a great example would be Amazon Alexa. You've got, you know, now we have this device that's going into tens of millions of homes. And there was a group of people, probably in Seattle, maybe a few other offices, but they had to come together and really devise this whole thing. The iPhone couldn't start without Steve Jobs saying, give me some really smart people to figure this out, I have a vision. So technology cannot happen unless the people come together. The iPhone actually, when it came out, it was pretty standard technology. They just put together a lot of those pieces in a small platform.
People did.
And people did, and revolutionized industry. The same thing is happening with voice and voice first, and I would say artificial intelligence.
I was going to ask you about artificial intelligence.
Yes.
Connect artificial intelligence, by the way, define it, and then what I'm fascinated by, I think it was Gardner who did some original work in the area of, Dr. Gardner did some original work around artificial intelligence. I remember reading as a college student thinking, so where is the place for human beings again when it comes to AI?
Yeah, what's interesting is, well, we're training computers to understand intent and then have a response, or take inputs of data and then do something with that data that can be deemed as intelligent, right? So being able to make decisions based on data, that's artificial intelligence. Now, what artificial intelligence will never replace is our human-only characteristics of, you know, instinct, intuition, yes, emotion, gut, all these things are really uniquely human, and that is actually why it's more important than ever that we bring people together. Because as technology evolves and gets faster, and it seems to be getting smarter, it actually can't replace our human-only characteristics, and our human-only characteristics actually get more valuable.
A more philosophical question from my point of view, which is also grounded in what I want to believe is pretty practical concern that a lot of us have, particularly parents. We have a 14 to 15-year-old little girl who's 8 and a big boy who's 25 from my first marriage. I noticed that the younger kids, they interact less this way than my older son. You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
My concern, the concern of millions of parents, is the potential either inability or the struggle of those who have grown up around technology, including voice, to have the kind of skills, instincts, to just do this.
Right. Well,
Am I
think,
making too much of it?
No, I think it's a fair concern. But if you look at the history of technology, the same things were raised when radio happened.
This isn't different.
The same thing were raised when telephones were happened. The same thing were raised when television happened. Now, I do believe that social media is a major challenge. It's having an impact on kids. Suicide rates are up. There are a lot of challenges. I would use the recent March for Our Lives as an example, though, that these kids are connected like never before.
And they got together physically on a human level.
Created a movement that had never been seen before, and they got together and they were able to communicate. They're amazing communicators because they spend their lives communicating with each other. So while there are negative sides, there's also very positive sides, and so it's going to be interesting to see how the voice first era has an impact on that. But I would say that, you know, we got to witness some of the positive.
You're bullish. You're positive.
I'm very positive because I believe in people, and people are the ones that drive forward technology. And when we were in there doing that introduction, we had a 13-year-old boy who was already programming.
Set that up. We'll grab some video of that, but talk to us about it.
Yeah, so, you know, one of the things I want to do is I want to put us all on a level playing field. Right, and so it's important to me, and in the tech space, obviously the tech industry has had its challenges with inclusion, and I want to make sure that we introduce ourselves as equals, and I wanted to find the youngest person in the room and the oldest person in the room, give them a little reward for being there, but also to show that, you know, we are all in this together, and we're building these technologies together.
What'd you find, a 13-year-old?
I found a 13-year-old boy who was already programming. Found a 70-year-old man who's very into the technology community from NJIT, and you know, it's just a great experience.
And everyone in between.
And everyone in between, right?
Pete Erickson, I want to thank you for joining us. You and your colleagues have done a terrific job bringing folks here to this campus, to this great city, to have this very important conversation. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. You're welcome.
Appreciate it. We're right back right after this.
To watch more One-on-One with Steve Adubato, find us online and follow us on social media.
We're pleased to welcome Claire Mitchell, Director of Vayner Smart, which is?
Well, we often talk about VaynerMedia as an agency built for the now, and Vayner Smart is the emerging technologies group that's looking a couple steps ahead where consumer attention is shifting, how consumer behavior is shifting in the current and upcoming time period.
Okay, so by the way, there's a little bit of a break in the Voice Summit. There are about 2,500 people. They're not even floating around here. They're in a major conference area where keynote speeches, panel discussions are taking place. Are you participating directly?
I'm not, just attending.
Well, not just attending, you're also
Absorbing.
meeting. Yeah. Why do you think so many people have come here to NGIT, to the Voice Summit?
I think there's a lot of excitement about the opportunity in voice. We've, for decades, been increasingly absorbed into screens, and right now we're at the pinnacle moment where we can start getting away from that and designing new ways of interacting with digital information, and that's really powerful for convenience, for speed, for immediacy, and for new ways of communicating.
How many people do you think are using voice right now?
At this very moment?
Yeah.
Hard to say, but a few statistics that are thrown around from
Throw them
third-party
out. Let's go.
survey data. The platforms themselves don't often give it out, but we do know
Proprietary
that,
information.
Exactly. We expect that by 2020, 30% of all browsing sessions, web browsing sessions, will occur through voice. 50% of all search will be performed by voice by 2020, and that's pretty extraordinary.
Why do you think it's expanding so quickly?
Convenience. People are getting time back into their lives. It's so much easier to have a thought, an idea, a desire, and speak it and receive the information that you need rather than getting out a screen and
I know this sounds, sorry for interrupting, I know this sounds very old school, but a friend of mine happens to be an attorney. He was talking into his phone. He was sending text messages by voice. And I know what he was doing because I've obviously seen it before. And I said, what are you doing? He goes, it's very quick.
It is.
It didn't register for me.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, is there a psychological and emotional thing we have to go through? I don't want to make this overly analytical, but to go from, no, I need to send you this, Claire.
Yeah.
I need to text this to you. Or my wife, if I'm sending her something by voice.
Absolutely. I think as technology changes, there's a moment of sort of tension where users need to know what's possible and know that something's not going to break when they try it. Right now, even text, trying to vocalize your text, there's sometimes challenges in that. There's misinterpretations. But
There can be
it's getting better.
misinterpretations.
Exactly.
When you're
well, that's true too.
manually doing it.
Right. Automated.
Right.
Corrections, spelling corrections. But as the capabilities increase, the functionality gets better, automated speech recognition is improved, our behaviors change as well, and we get used to it, and we know that it's not going to break if we try it.
You know what's interesting, Gary Vee, by the way, if you want to check out our website, steveadubato.org, which our team will put up right now, check out several of the interviews we've done with Gary Vee. Tell everyone who Gary Vee is. Powerful stuff. Tell everyone who Gary is.
Incredibly charismatic entrepreneur who started out growing his family's business and has ultimately grown 800-person agency that's international at this point.
And you're part of that team.
I am. I feel extremely fortunate. It's a very energetic place to be.
What do you think Gary and those who work with him, what do you think you see that some of the rest of us don't? And is that what you're trying to do a lot, which is figure out what do people want and or need? Match it up.
In terms of like opportunities for brands and marketers?
Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, well, on voice platforms in particular, I think brands and marketers are going to increasingly need to become more like product designers than advertisers. So
Product designers.
Exactly. So cultivating value, creating a long-lasting experience that isn't just an ad campaign, but actually provides utility on an ongoing basis.
So it's not simply transactional, it's more transformational?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it. When we tell clients how they might approach voice, we often say, start with something that you're already an expert in. What value can you provide your customer, whether it's utility, entertainment, or instructional? There's got to be a reason for people to use your experience and to want to reach out.
How'd you get into this?
I have a long and windy path. Started out in visual effects production.
Visual effects production?
Yeah, creative development side, so helping come up with the ideas and execute them. And then went back to grad school for design and technology, got into product design for IoT systems, and now I'm with VaynerMedia.
How fascinating exists to you right now, at this moment in this industry?
I think the most fascinating thing is to see the energy around it and to come to conferences like this and see how much people want to learn and absorb and contribute and transform the next couple of stages.
It's an exciting time.
Really exciting.
Do us a favor and give our best to Gary Vee. Tell him to come back.
Will do.
Claire Mitchell is, in fact, the director of Vayner Smart. I want to thank you.
Thank you so much.
All the best.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been provided by RWJ Barnabas Health, PSE&G, TD Bank, Verizon, the Northward Center, United Airlines, and by the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
PSE&G is building New Jersey's clean energy future. We're working to protect our network against extreme weather, expanding and upgrading transmission lines, and modernizing our natural gas system by installing new, more durable underground pipes. At PSE&G, our goal is to make sure you have the safe, reliable energy you need to power your life now and into the future.